Welcome to another edition of the Dogger Pass podcast. This for UFC Vegas 105. Paul Shaughnessy, Cody Saftik here, brought to you by CoolBet. Use promo code Dogger Pass when making a new account to get a match up to $200 on your first deposit. A bunch of other fun things happening. I don't know if you guys follow Pat Mayo. Pat Mayo is sponsored exclusively to CoolBet, or at least on the betting side exclusively, still with Underdog as well. But they have the Pat Mayo Experience Canadian Open. Canadian Open golf tournament up here right before the US Open up here in Toronto, Canada. So what you'll get, and this is only available to people who are from non-Ontario, so any other place in Canada besides where Cody lives.
Yeah, the tournament's in Toronto, but if you live in Toronto, you ain't eligible anywhere else outside of the province of Ontario in
They have
Canada.
different rules for the gambling stuff, so like CoolBet isn't available, unfortunately, where Cody lives. But the grand prize for the golf stuff includes travel accommodation for two to Toronto, 4 nights accommodation in a hotel. I'm sure they took me down to Costa Rica. It was a nice hotel. It's a nice little situation going on there. You get 2 tickets to the Canadian Open on June 6th and 8th. I believe that's the Thursday and the Saturday, but I mean, I'm not looking at a calendar, so I may be a little bit off on that. Either way, you get to go to the Canadian Open 2 of the days. You get 2 suite level tickets to the Blue Jays versus the Phillies on June 5th, plus exclusive access. I mean, I think this is the best part of it. Exclusive access to the Pat Mayo Experience live show on June 7th, which me and Cody and producer Gerald and Pat and Tim Andercust and Jeff Feinberg and Cam and a whole bunch of people. If you like the Pat Mayo Experience universe, you'll enjoy that. So basically, every $10 that you bet on PGA Tour stuff for the next 3 weeks, it ends April 21st. We'll get you a ticket into a raffle, and then at the end, one lucky person will win. At the end of the day, what this really is like if you're going to be making golf bets over the next little bit, you are not in Ontario, but you are Canadian. Whether you have or don't have a CoolBet account, bet it at CoolBet for that number, and you get potential to win something big at the end. If there are bets you're going to be making anyway, I don't see why you wouldn't take a little bonus on the side, a little upside to get the trip of your life. You don't even have to come meet me and Pat and Cody and all of the crew, but like Jay's tickets, golf tickets, staying in a nice hotel in a world-class city, it's like a pretty good time. And there's like a UFC thing going on as well, Cody, right?
Yeah, well, you might be watching the show thinking to yourself, yeah, I'm a fight guy. I don't really care about golf. Well, CoolBet's got you covered as well. So it's a very similar type of contest, but you're entering to win airfare for two, hotel for two, 2 tickets to UFC 315 in Montreal on May 10th. Very similar. Paul mentioned on his, it's you get a raffle ticket for every $10 bet. This is you get a raffle ticket for every $25 bet. But it's the same thing. If you have a CoolBets account, you live outside of Ontario, anywhere in Canada, outside of Ontario, and you're betting on the fights anyways, then every $25 you put down, win or lose, the more you're putting in, you're getting more raffle tickets. You have a higher probability to hit the grand prize. That grand prize, again, as I mentioned, airfare for two, tickets for two. They'll take care of you, bring you out to Montreal, set you up for the UFC. But on top of that, let's say you don't win the grand prize. There's a secondary prize, $250 in free CoolBet prize, like a free roll, as well as a third prize of like a swag pack. And they've got cool t-shirts, sweaters, hats. They've hooked me and Paul up in the past. So we've been with Mckee, nice fights. We've been with Prize Picks. We've been DraftKings. CoolBet's honestly the only people that come to us and say, "Listen, we want to run promos. We want to do this type of engagement, and we want to push." Like they send up all to Costa Rica, and they're doing a golf giveaway, and they're doing a UFC giveaway. So shout out to the guys at CoolBet. If you do have an account, you can just go over there. You can check out all the contest details. If you don't have an account, I mean, what better reason to create one, right? So I mean, try to win the prize pack, and like Paul said, maybe we'll see you down here.
Yeah, it's all in the promotion tab on Twitter, or like for the golf one specifically, go to Pat at the PME on X. X gonna give it to you. And he's probably retweeting it like 5 times a day. So it's like if you scroll through a little bit, you'll find it. It's there.
Yeah, and Paul's ends on April 21st. This UFC one's April 12th. So it's
Yeah.
any action you get down from now until the 12th, or for the golf until the 21st, you're getting raffle tickets for that, and then they'll do the prize draw at the conclusion of the selected date.
Yeah. Ain't no rest for the wicked, Cody. There's 13 UFC fights taking place in Vegas this weekend. In the main event, we've got Lerone Murphy taking on Josh Emmett. Murphy, a minus 310 favorite. Emmett can be had for plus 260. What's your take here?
Yeah, I mean it's a good fight with Josh Emmett. He's like the ninth wonder of the world. The guy's 40 years old at this point. Like, at what point is he going to stop chugging along? And yeah, I'll tell you what, man, he still moves really fast. He's obviously got some dynamite power in his hands. He does have that wrestling background, but he really doesn't use it anymore. I mean, he's not taken down an opponent more than one time in the last, number of years. So, even though he has that base, it's more so to keep the fight standing and then just try to unload on you. You've seen points in his career, fights with, say, Shea Burgos, where he is capable of putting up high volume. But it seems like he's just really in love with that power in the right hand, and sometimes he just gets a little bit tentative and just waits on it a little bit too much. If you look back at his last number of opponents, the one to me that probably most resembles what he might face here is his fight with Yair Rodriguez. Now, it's not like Lerone Murphy fights like Yair Rodriguez, but they both fight long, right? They both have a good jab and they both have good kick game. So in that fight, Emmett just waits too long. He gets seriously hurt to the body by Yair Rodriguez, body kicks, knees to the body, eventually gets a little bit desperate, gets the takedown, and I don't want to say he quit. The guy's an absolute warrior. He's not going to quit on himself. He went 5 rounds with Topuria in his very next fight. But once he gets on the ground and his body's hurt, he's slowed right down. He allows the triangle to get applied. In the Topuria fight, wins fight of the night. What a great fight. Yeah, one of the judges had it 50-42. He gets mauled. Kudos to him for surviving, but this is not a competitive fight. One judge gave Emmett 1 round. That's it. The other two judges had it straight sweeps, and every judge had 10-8 rounds included in the mix. So he's tough. He's always got that puncher's chance. He could make something happen, but he hasn't fought in a year and a half. To kill Bryce Mitchell in that fashion, KO of the year, and then just to take a year and a half off, I'm not sure what he's dealing with, whether it be injuries or whether they just didn't rebook him right away. I find that one hard to believe, but I just feel like Lerone Murphy is not exactly the youngest guy on the roster, but he's a lot faster than him. He's got a nasty jab, just continuously getting better with the striking. My most impressive thing with Lerone Murphy is that he used to be just fairly one-dimensional with his striking. He cashes a good ticket for us against Edson Barbosa, where he lands 220 significant strikes, looks good. It's the Dan Ige fight, where the striking looks good, but his grappling is vastly improved. Like, his takedown game is pretty solid. When he himself gets taken down, he's excellent ability to get back up. I don't see Josh Emmett sticking to a wrestling-heavy game plan. It's just not who he is. He can't wrestle. Sticking to that type of game plan is really not who he is. I could see Josh Emmett clipping him. Dan Ige scored a knockdown. Nice little quick little left hand. But once Lerone Murphy gets up off the canvas, he's just going to go back to outworking you. If this thing goes 2, 3, 4, 5 rounds, it could go the distance, let's say. I just feel like Murphy does the better overall work over that period of time and ends up either winning the decision or maybe stopping Emmett late. But yeah, Murphy speed advantage, output, grappling is vastly improved. Like what I see from him. He's technically 7-0 in the UFC, right? Like, he needs to win a couple of these big fights and jump into contention. So this is a great opportunity for him to do it.
He's made a lot of improvements for sure. And I think the most impressive thing that I've seen from Lerone Murphy over the last few years, like that Edson fight, everyone kind of like earmarked it as like, oh, he's gonna have to grapple, he's gonna have to do this. Oh, it's 5 rounds. We don't really know, what's gonna happen here. And yeah, basically tripled him up in significant strikes, 220 to 79. There's 4 takedowns there, but like over the course of 25 minutes, there's only 5 minutes of control time. It was the fact that it's like he literally stood and traded with Edson Barbosa, which is like what everyone said he shouldn't do. And like yeah, like round three, 49 to or 48 to 11. It's just like as the fight wore on in a 5 round fight, he ramped it up and like actually generally kind of kept it consistent. But rounds 4 and 5, he definitely stepped on the gas a little bit. Round 5, I guess he slowed down a little bit, got a takedown and held some control for close to 2 minutes. But that was kind of impressive. I guess the only concern is like Emmett hits like an absolute truck. More knockdowns, I believe, than anybody in the featherweight division, or at least he's in the top five probably of all time for guys with knockdowns. Because I guess that Felipe Arantes fight where he got four knockdowns and somehow it went to
Yeah, but
decision.
like
That
him and Burgos goes to decision. He drops him twice. Him and
yeah,
Ige
exactly.
goes to decision, but he drops him. So yeah, he either puts you out cold or you hit the canvas at some point. But yeah, you're right. He's got and power's the last thing to leave. So even a 40-year-old Emmett is still capable of stretching you out of the building.
Yeah, so like Zuby Takugaga, I mean that was 29 knocked him down, but more importantly, Ige was able to register a knockdown last time out against him, and he had to lean on that wrestling. So at this price, I think it's like I don't know if there's too much meat on the bone. I am picking Lerone Murphy to get the job done, to maintain range, just be the longer striker and stay out of danger. But like it's a dangerous opponent on the other side. And I would not fault anybody. I mean, I'm still considering it to be perfectly honest, but like an Emmett by knockout prop. I see like, I mean, plus 375 at like cool bet is pretty short, but like there's plus 500s out on the market right now. If he's gonna do it, it's probably how he does it. But Murphy will be the pick for me. Most interesting bet, I suppose, for a guy like me. A sick degen like me is probably. We got Anderson Brito taking on Pat Sabatini, minus 240 for Brito, plus 205 for Sabatini. I mean, this fight. I feel like it's like this with every single Pat Sabatini fight. I never have a good read on this guy, man. Because you're like, oh, he's not gonna take this guy down. Jonathan Pierce was like such a classic example last time out. It's just like, well, Pierce has good wrestling. It's like Sabatini's not just gonna go out there, take him down, and do what he does. Because like when Pat Sabatini does take you down, my God, you're in for a lot of trouble. The guy's submission game is absolutely 100% elite. Problem is that like the rest of his game, striking game, very, very rudimentary, I would say, for this level of competition. Um, it's such a hard thing. And like Brito is super, super strong, very, very tough to take down. Pierce was able to take him down once. Bill Algeo took him down twice, I suppose. But outside of that, and like when people do take him down, they're not like holding him down for extended periods of time. The guy's built like an absolute fire hydrant. I don't think it's easy, and I will pick Brito. I just think he lands the more impactful strikes, like when they're on the feet. But like Sabatini burned me, I believe. Yeah, I'm sure I had money on Pierce last time out because I was like, he's not just gonna take him down and sub him, and that's damn well exactly what he did. It wasn't even close. It wasn't competitive, and yeah, Sabatini's just that guy. Just like when he shows up, he can show up and get knocked out in the first round by Damon Jackson, or he can show up
Hmm.
and take literally anybody down and sub them and absolutely dominate them. It's probably a better live bet because like you're gonna know real quickly whether Sabatini has advantages in this. It's a tough one to say pre-flop because you're like when Sabatini goes for that first takedown, you're gonna kind of know does like Brito just shake him off? Is it even close? Is he able to just like push him away? Because like once you see that, like I'd feel pretty good about Brito. Pick is going to be Brito on this, but yeah, Sabatini always has me a little bit shook. What's your take here?
I'm gonna take Sabatini, but I can fully admit this will probably be my crappy pick of the week because it's he's not gonna be one of these. Oh, dude, he lost, but it was a close split decision. You know, you didn't look bad. If he loses, he's going to get knocked out in the first round or early into the second. So it's gonna be a bad look if I get this pick wrong. But yeah, no, he's a 50-50 guy, to be honest with you. 50% of the time, he makes a stupid decision like, I'm gonna strike on the feet, and he gets knocked out. 50% of the time, like Pat said, or like Paul said, he's a D1 wrestler in college, right? He's a
Hmm.
BJJ black belt. He can get these fights to the ground. He's got a magnitude of these quick little body lock takedowns, inside trips, outside trips, gets you, drags you to the ground. And once he gets on top, he's not big on ground and pound. It's positional soundness. Where are you going to go? What are you going to do? And all of a sudden, he's on your back. And if he can choke you out, great. If not, he generally holds these positions. You can go back and watch a bunch of these fights and say he looks mediocre in a pile of them. And that is true. But I do believe that he is improving. I do believe him at his best is scoring takedowns and just racking up control time. I faded Diego Lopez. If you know me, I fade Diego Lopez all the time. It doesn't really work. But I took Pat Sabatini in that matchup under the idea that He's a better wrestler than Diego Lopez, who's more of a guard puller. He'll shoot the takedown. Diego Lopez will welcome it. They'll go to the ground. Pat Sabatini on top of you is an animal.
Mhm.
I got him bet. I'm feeling really good about it. They're walking out to the cage. Before they walk out to the cage, they do a little pre-fight interview. And Pat Sabatini says, fans know I can wrestle. Fans know that I can grapple. Tonight, they're going to see something new that they haven't seen before. I was like,
You're just like
no.
ripping up your tickets immediately, just like,
Yeah,
oh, it's all over.
because if people remember in his fight with Jamal Emmers, he's getting beat up standing, and then Jamal Emmers follows him to the ground and he heel hooks him. But his striking looks bad. And then, as Paul mentioned, the Damon Jackson fight, Damon Jackson's grandma died like the day before, so he just went in all pissed off, like, and Pat stood in front of him, which was a bad move. Of course, his fight with Diego Lopez, oh, you're a jiu-jitsu guy, I'm a jiu-jitsu guy. This is a great opportunity to show off my striking improvements. Don't show off your striking improvements. Take the fight to the ground. So the Jonathan Pierce fight, it's like, yeah, he fought the smart game plan, which is like, no more striking for me. I know I'm chinny, or at least I realize my durability is not that good. I need to get these fights to the ground, and then when he does that, that's him at his best. So I need to just, I always harp on the show. Oh, losing makes you better. Losing makes you better. You learn from your mistakes. Pat's got to be one of these guys. Don't stand. Don't do it. Just shoot the takedown. And then if he does that, I think he's going to have a lot of success. No doubt about it. Joanderson Brito can crack. He's got more than enough firepower to um, knock out his opponent here, Pat Sabatini. Yeah, okay. Well, who's he knocked out? Jack Short, not a knockout. There was a cut on his shin. Weston Wilson, mega bum. He knocked
Hmm.
out Andre Feely in 41 seconds, man. This guy swings, and it's a problem. And Pat Sabatini's not particularly durable, so I could see Joanderson Brito knocking him out. But you mentioned all the fights that Joanderson had gotten taken down in, so I rewatched all of those in particular, and like Bill Algeo goes 2 for 2 in takedowns on
Hmm.
him, and then holds him down pretty effortlessly for over 5 minutes. Kind of outgrapples him. The Jonathan Pierce fight's an interesting one. Joanderson Brito takes Jonathan Pierce down in the first round, and Pierce just reverses him and ends up on top. The second round, Pierce takes him down, and he's clowning him. He says, "Get up, get up." And then Brito gets up and he ninja chokes him. It's hilarious. But he's getting out grappled. Now we can't use MMA math and say, "Oh, he got out grappled by Jonathan Pierce, and Jonathan Pierce got out grappled by Pat Sap." But it's true. When we talk about there's levels to it, Pat Sabatini's got an excellent ground game. Brito's more of a generalist. He can grapple, he can bang, and he's short on cardio. He's like a 2 round guy. So Paul makes a great point with the live betting market. Maybe just wait for this thing to conclude a round. And Brito's either got his hand raised after 1 round and Pat Sabatini's unconscious, or if this thing gets into a second round, then yeah, it's going to start trending Pat Sabatini's favor for sure. Um, he's got to just fight the right game plan is the main thing. But because he's the underdog, I'm enticed to take him, and that's going to be my play this week.
Yeah, I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all. We'll see where I land by the end of the week. If you want more from us, we do a prop show over on the old Patreon. Links in the description for all of that. We've got Changho Lee taking on Cortavious Romious. -135 for Lee, +115 for Romious. Who you got here?
Yeah, I would take Lee, but I can't lie to you. There's no real great angle, at least from my perspective on this one. Cortavious Romious, I don't like him. It's not like it's a personal thing. I'm sure on a personal level, I'm sure he's fine. He seems like a nice guy. It's just like I don't like his game. I don't know what he brings to the table. He's not a good striker. He's not a good grappler. He's got durability issues. Dana White signs him on the Contender Series off a awful fight. Like he skims by 38-year-old Mike
Imperado, yeah.
Imperato, yeah, who was hitting him with some flush right hands despite not being a striker and had taken him down as well. But Dana says afterwards, this kid's the greatest athlete I've ever seen. He's the most athletic guy I've ever seen. It's like, you can't possibly mean that. You can't possibly believe the shit that's coming out of your mouth. But that's what he says. So he signs him on this basis of he's this super athletic prospect, and I mean, he's not really not a prospect. He's 30 years old. I know, again, he has a good story and there was bouts of homelessness and the kind of guy that you'd like to cheer for. But in terms of betting him, like I'm not sold on him. Comes on the Contender Series the first time, Roman Tavares knocks him out in 29 seconds. Then he
Mhm.
beats Imperato and gets the contract, and then he debuts against Gaston Bolanos. Paul and I are like low-key Gaston Bolanos fans because he was a lion fight guy back in the day, and he'd always
Yeah.
spinning back elbow people in the face. It was sweet. So yeah, he was an underdog to Cortavious. Well, why not take him? And His grappling, he made Gaston Bolanos look like a complete MMA fighter. Like everything Gaston did, Gaston took him down twice. You know, he tripled
Yeah.
him up on the significant strike stats. He defended everything Romious had for him. Like, I don't see some big X factor to his game. He's just not my kind of guy. Now, Changho Lee, there's really nothing to do there. But this guy's got a really good gas tank, and he just goes. It's not like his technique's all that great. Southpaw kind of swings a little bit. I wouldn't say he's sharp. I wouldn't say he's technical. He gets taken down in all of his fights, but he just keeps scrambling. He just keeps making you work. He just keeps getting up. And the longer these fights go, that's where he's able to capitalize. His fight on the road to the UFC against this Dermirsi Zawupuasi, he's getting taken down a bunch. Get up game's good. Constantly makes you work. Late in the third round, he knocks the guy out. Then his fight with Zhao Long, I took Zhao Long. Wasn't like there was a great lean there as well. But and he busts him up. He does the damage. He gets some takedowns of his own. It's a back and forth fight, but he's constantly doing more. And I like that after 15 minutes, his cardio looks still good and in check. So for Romius, Romius is more of a fast twitch muscle kind of guy because he's some great athlete. I don't necessarily see it, but Dana does. And Dana's got a good eye. It's because he's such a great athlete. It's like he genuinely does try to use some of that finesse, use some of that quick reflex, and then eventually he just burns himself out or he gets lost in the moment. Um, I would like if the line was flipped and I could get short plus money on Lee. Obviously, that's not the case, so I got to take a short minus 135 price tag on him. I get it. I believe that he should win this fight. I understand him being the favorite, but it's not like this thing's going to be a walk in the park. They're two low-level guys that are more than capable of pitching a low-level performance. I just feel like Lee's showing me a little bit more that I would rather put my money on, right? Doesn't have
Yeah.
those same durability issues, solid cardio, just beat an okay guy, albeit not great, but just, improving and getting better. And Romius, meanwhile, just never impressed me on the regional scene, and still to this point, I'm not seeing it. So he has every opportunity to prove me wrong on Saturday, Paul, but until then, I got to fade him again.
Now you may as well wait on the Changho Lee line because the market loves Romious and like I don't really understand why they're so. I mean, again, love is always a big, is a big word to be kind of saying. It was as high as like opened up at I guess I went up to like plus 210. It was as high as like plus 170 a couple days ago. Now it's plus 115. Yeah, I went back and I watched the Romious versus Gaston fight. And Romious, like both two of the rounds, like he basically blasts out of a cannon, shoots in a really aggressive takedown, gets the takedown, gets some top control and stuff, but like isn't able to really do all that much from there. Isn't really landing significant strikes from there. Isn't able to, or he had like Gaston's back in round two. Had the full body triangle in for about 2.5 minutes. Wasn't able to sub, Gaston, who he's a kickboxer, man. Like that was he's pivoted over there and we loved him as a kickboxer and when I was watching that fight in the in the real moment with money on Gaston, I was like, "Oh, we're screwed. Oh, we're screwed."
It's
But then
over.
right at the end of round two, it's like he gets Gaston or not even last, there's like 2 minutes left or so in round two. Gaston basically gets out and starts landing these crazy elbows to the side of Romius's head, and then ends up on top and is like landing ground and pound. So it's like it's almost like Romius has like all this burst of energy at the beginning of rounds, but it's like, what? How do judges score rounds? It's like it's a lot of the times they're supposed to, the whole round, but it's like the last thing that you see is your last impression. I was on, yeah, we were both on Gaston in that spot, and we were, it was a close decision at the end of the day. I know it went down as unanimous, but like a couple things go differently, and Gaston probably doesn't get the nod. But that being said, it's just like I just saw a trend in this guy that's just like, yeah, fast twitch early, but he can't really sustain it over the course of 5 minutes. He's got a minute that he kind of recovers, comes out fast twitch, but it's just like he falls off again. Yeah, 30 years old. Dana saying that he's like the best athlete he's ever seen. It's just like it seems like a bit of a stretch. Maybe I think he's like Showtime Pettis' buddy or something like that. So maybe Dana's just being like friendly because like Anthony Pettis was in the house. Who knows? But I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna go with Lee. But I'll wait for the market to sort itself out because it's working its way closer to like a pick'em at this point. Kennedy and Nzechukwu takes on Party Marty Buday. Minus 310 for Kennedy, plus 260 for Party Marty. Um, Let me just start this off by saying, like, I don't like Party Marty. I don't think Party Marty's all that talented. The one thing that is like kind of sketchy about this, and I guess you can say that about like every single fight since Kennedy and Nzechukwu went up to this weight class, up to heavyweight, is that he's giving up a lot of size, right? Martin Buday is 264 pounds, probably cuts, 10, 15 pounds on fight day type of thing. Maybe he walks around at 265, but wouldn't be surprised if he cuts a little bit of weight to get down. So Kennedy came in at like 235 and a half last time. He's going to be faster. He's longer. He's more composed on the feet. He should be able to pick apart Buday at range. It's like even you go and watch the Gaziev fight, it's a totally different type of fight, but like that elbow in close that Gaziev lands on Buday, like that was almost like a fight finisher at this point. They end up like checking to see if it was like an eye poke or something. It's just like no, it's like the guy's orbital may just be like crushed or something like that. Um, Kennedy has a lot of big advantages here. The one concern is like, is Buday going to be able to use that weight, push Kennedy up against the cage, make this super boring and ugly? Because Party Marty does his best work, frankly, in like standing cage control.
Mm.
Um, yeah, Kennedy, I think rolls, but the weight, I want to watch weigh-ins here, not to see them standing next to each other, but like I would love to see like Kennedy, it's his third, fourth fight back at heavyweight now. I'd love to see him like tip the scales at like 245, 250, and be like, okay, this guy's really putting extra weight onto that frame so he can hang with the big boys. He's got the frame, he just needs a little bit more mass to hang at this level. But Kennedy's the pick for me. What about you?
Yeah, like I got Kennedy, but we got heavyweights. Or one of them's not even really a heavyweight. And so for this line, it's basically a stay away. A smart man would probably just stay away. I don't think
Yep.
there's really anything to be had. But I got Kennedy as well. It's more so game theory than anything else. With Buday, he's fought at a very, very low level. Chris Barnett, who I guess suppose Kennedy fought as well. Lucas Brzezinski, who Kennedy fought as well. Jake Collier, Josh Parisian. None of those guys are on the roster anymore. Gaziev his first step up, and as you mentioned, Gaziev knocks him out. I wouldn't say effortlessly, but yeah, he's basically beating him up and winning all the exchanges, and then he knocks him out early in the second. It's that last fight with Andrei Arlovski where I thought Andrei Arlovski beat him. Andrei Arlovski, by the numbers, outstruck him. He outworked him, and Buday just stands there and stares. There's no real good cage control. He cage control Lucas Brzezinski. They gave him a split decision. He got outstruck by Brzezinski 118 to 66. Everybody widely considered it a robbery. But it was, yeah, he spammed takedown, or not takedowns, control time up against the cage. Against Arlovski, he didn't even do that. He was just so complacent to get hit. Arlovski loses a split that I thought he won, outstrikes him, and they cut Arlovski afterwards, being like, what a terrible fight. Why are we paying you all this money? This is the worst fight ever. But yet nobody says it's Martin Buday. He arguably did less than Andrei Arlovski in that fight. So yeah, I'm
Hmm.
not sold on him. Even though he's the underdog and it's a big underdog price and it's a crazy heavyweight fight, why not take him? I just can't. And then the flip side for that is like I always drummed up the point that like Kennedy's not great, but he'll be good eventually. Because look at the proportions on this guy at light heavyweight. Like it's just a matter of time before he puts it all together, and he never did. He honestly never did. When he lost to Ovid St. Preux, that last loss at 205, I was like, I am officially out on the Kenny and Nzechukwu business. Never again. He's never made any improvements. He himself is not a good fighter.
No.
He's chinny at times. He's gassed at times. There's some moments, some highlight reel moments. He beat Alberg, you know. He nice little submission choke over Devin Clark, or he knocks out Carl Roberson was a decent one. There's small little moments here and there that it's like, oh yeah, he's finally putting it all together. But the always same proof fight was like, no, he's really not. If anything, he's moving backwards. And then randomly he jumps up to 205 against Chris Barnett. Oh, it's a free win, right? It's Chris Barnett. But he did look really good doing it for as long as it lasted. Then they give him Lucas Brzezinski, which is certainly a step up from Chris Barnett. It's a common opponent with Martin Buday. Martin Buday won a split decision over him in a robbery fashion, and Kennedy smokes him. And so just as I'm writing off Kennedy, it's like, hurt me one more time, Kenny Nzechukwu. He's a heavyweight now. I'm hoping that these weight cuts to 205 were just absolutely riddling him. And that's why he was so inconsistent. Sometimes the weight cut went good. He performed well. Sometimes the weight cut went real bad. He performed real bad. Why is he getting knocked out on these short little shots? Probably because he dehydrated himself 30 pounds making the weight. So as Paul said, I'd like to see him fill in the frame, maybe get a little bit, not heavier, just filled out, a little more mass to you, a little stronger. I think he can beat Martin Buday. I got him. Just the money line, so bad, so bad. But I do got Kenny Nzechukwu. I do have Kenny Nzechukwu to win the fight at the end of the day.
I mean, if you just want to play the old, fighter math or MMA math, it doesn't go very much further than they both fought at heavyweight. Lucas Brzeski and Chris Barnett. Budai's got a unanimous decision and a split decision over those two guys.
Yeah, who
And
goes to
Kennedy
decision with
and
Barnett?
Kennedy knocked them both out in the
Yeah.
first round. And the other fight that Buday had success was like against that Lorenzo Hood on Contender Series. He's
Oh,
like
man, he's
he
bad.
Oh,
Lorenzo
he's
Hood's
so bad.
real
He's so
bad.
bad. It's like I would be fading that guy on like a Fury FC card.
BKFC card.
Yeah, FCR should look that guy up.
Yeah,
If
for
you don't
sure.
understand what we're talking about, links in the description. Had a good week over on the Swedish regional scene last week. Moving on down, we got Brad Tavares taking on Gerald Meerschaert. Brad Tavares minus 215 favorite. Meerschaert could be at plus 185. What an interesting matchup. What an interesting matchup. And if this was like 2 years ago, I'd be like, easy work for Brad Tavares. Easy peasy. Brick wall. Nobody takes this guy down. Super durable. Easy. This is just a cupcake matchup. Perfect stylistical thing. Gerald's got good submission skills. He's not gonna be able to hang with Brad on the feet. But then now, it's a little bit more complicated than that. I do think that we've seen the best that we have of Brad Tavares at this point. That chin has been cracked in two of his last four fights. Looked awful, frankly, against an absolute wounded animal in Chris Weidman in that fight. He's been taken down twice against Jung Hong Park. He got taken down twice against G-Rod, Gerald Rodriguez. Meerschaert's not a great wrestler, but he's just kind of a guy who just like hangs around, looks for the opportunity. I think Brad keeps it standing, picks him apart on the feet. Kind of a somewhat boring technical striking decision, but yeah, I would love it a lot more if he wasn't taken down a couple times in each of his last two fights and wasn't knocked out as well in some of his fights. Because this was like the perfect matchup for Brad, frankly, up until maybe the Dricus fight. Like that Bruno Silva fight, I feel like is kind of like the beginning of like, okay, this is probably like over the hill Brad Tavares. But Tavares will still be the pick for me. What about you?
Yeah, I feel like I'm leaning towards Joe Meerschaert, but I can't lie. When I first saw the fight got announced, I'm thinking Brad Tavares win this fight. The exact same reason you say. He's got tr historically really good takedown defense. Sits at 80% in the UFC, but he's been fighting in the UFC for 15 plus years, and it's largely always held up. Now, he doesn't have any real power in his hands. He's more of a point style kickboxer, so he'll just outpoint you over 15 minutes. But if you can't take him down and you don't have some type of elite striking, he's probably just going to outwork you. He's 1-4 over his last five fights. He's got that one win over Weidman, which I don't think counts for anything, and that's his lone win over the last 4 years. So Brad's 37 now. He's full time in Las Vegas. He's a company man. He's got good management. They like him, but the line is starting to get a little bit closer every fight for Brad Tavares. For Meerschaert, it's a weird one. It's like, how does he win this fight? It's like, take him down, but can he take him down? Well, geez, I don't know. But the Jung Young Park fight, I know Paul's already touched on all this. Jung Young Park takes you down twice and spends 6.5 minutes on you. Yeah, this is gonna be a problem. Meerschaert's thing is never, ever, 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 ever bet Jared Meerschaert as the favorite. But as the underdog, bro, this is where he shines. He's getting his ass kicked, and all of a sudden you fall to the ground and he's on your back. Or honestly, there's so many fights. The Edmund Shabazian fight, he is getting wrecked. All of a sudden, Edmund Shabazian gets a little tired, makes one mistake. He's
It was
choked
on
out with an
Gerald
arm
there.
triangle choke. His fight with Bruno Silva, right? Same thing. Third round, he gets him out of there. The
Mhm.
Dustin Stolfus fight, I had him down 2 rounds in the third. He chokes him out. Mahmoud Muradov, he's 100% losing this fight, and he's a 5-1 underdog. Mahmoud gets the slightest bit tired, he takes him down. Brad doesn't got cardio issues, so I don't know that he'll just get tired and make a mistake. But I think at 37, his reflexes are slowing down. His body's starting to break down a little bit. Meerschaert's no spring chicken himself, but he's like a 50 fight vet. Like he knows what he's doing. And it could be the PRP pick. I want to see Wayne's. I want to see what both guys look like on the scale and maybe see some more interviews from both guys and see what kind of like what the motivation's like. But it's a total dog or pass type of fight. I just got to take Jeremy Meerschaert whether I like it or not.
Tavares hasn't been subbed since 2010.
Yeah, that's fair, but I mean, they generally do a really
Thanks,
good
Court
job of
McGee.
matching him up against. Well, I guess G-Rod could have maybe tried to sub him, but he knocked him out instead. Weidman, he was so shot by then. Drakus never really tried to take him down. Omari Akhmedov doesn't have a submission game. Antonio Carlos Jr., yeah, that's just. I remember watching that fight and the Akhmedov fight and being like, Brad's a great gatekeeper. Like, if you're fraudulent, if you're a PFL guy, you're not getting by Brad. Sure enough, both of them, Antonio Carlos Jr. and Omari Akhmedov, lost to him and then went on to the
You
PFL.
probably make more money than him by
Antonio
fighting
Carlos
in
Jr. won
the.
$1 million. Isn't
I
that
don't have never
crazy?
understood. Brad seemed like the perfect guy to go over to PFL, and he's friends with Ray Sefo, like really close friends with
Really
Ray
good
Sefo.
friends.
I've
Yeah.
always been shocked, like I've always been like stunned that Brad didn't find his way over there. That seemed like the easiest. Like, okay, Brad's gonna end one of his contracts, and then he's gonna go try to fight for $1 million in the PFL tournament. It's never happened. It's very, very strange.
Yeah, the thing with PFL is like you could make that quick $1 million, but like where's the job security like? Like I
No,
don't know. I'm trying to look for a disclosed salary from Brad Tavares, but the UFC has not put out a disclosed salary for him in years. Now keep in mind he's got 15 wins in the UFC and 25 fights overall. He'd be making over $100,000
250.
show money. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he probably gets paid closer to 250 or $300,000 if he
Which is a
wins.
lot
And if I
for
just did
somebody who's not main eventing anything.
Yeah, I'm fighting Jun Yun Park and Bruno Silva. You can't tell me they're not giving me a chance to cash my money here, right?
Hmm.
So, like, I don't know. I think you're selling yourself short, maybe. You take the $1 million and then it's like the company folded up and you're fighting for GFL. I don't know. I don't even know what the hell's going on there. But you get what I'm saying. The UFC, it's like, damn,
Shots
do I
fired.
do I bite the hand that's been feeding me for 15 years, you know? He knocked out my boy Phil Baroni in 2011.
And that's why you
Phil
hate him.
Baroni, yeah, exactly, dude. Phil Baroni's my favorite. But Phil Baroni's now in a Mexican prison, doing basically for life for killing a woman in Mexico. And Brad Tavares is still cutting it up in the UFC. What's up? Life takes everybody in different paths, Paul Shaughnessy. But just like Phil Baroni is all the way done, Brad's getting towards his own version of done, competitively. He's just a little bit less every time you see him. And I know you've already touched on that point. Brad, a couple years ago, all day. Brad, now I'm not so sold on his durability. I'm not so sold on his takedown defense. I'm not so sold on his 15 minutes of just point fighting, but smart, educated point fighting. I'm not sold on it. Meerschaert, I'm not a Meerschaert guy because he's so volatile. But if you can get plus money on him, that's that is honestly where he shines usually at his best. Is he's a 50-50 type guy. And if you're betting him at plus money every single time, then you're going to end up positive at the end of the day. How he's still in the UFC, beyond me. But every time it's like Gerald needs a win here. He steps up and he gets that win. So we'll see if he's got a little more magic in the tank.
He is a magic man. Magic Meerschaert. I mean, yeah. I mean, Meerschaert at dog money is never. That's a winning solution over the course of his career. And my God, he's had so many fights. Guy seemingly never really gets like injured for an extended period of time, which is pretty impressive because like the guy gets hit. The guy gets hit a lot in a lot of fights.
Yeah, well,
Um,
with Reiner, he goes into the third round with Reiner to Ryder, and then he gets submitted, right? Kevin Holland, Ryder just smokes in 1 round, and then Kevin Holland out grapples Gunnar Nelson. Everyone's talking about how great of a grappler Kevin Holland is. It's like Meerschaert was infinitely more competitive with Reiner. So I don't know. None of it means anything. You're just using common opponents to see how guys do. But yeah, again, he is capable of using that grappling to defeat. He's like a Paul Craig. He's really not all that good. But he can sub pretty well anybody in the division. Just it has to be his night.
100%. All right, moving on down. We got your buddy fighting up next here. Torrez Finney taking on Robert Valentin. Finney, a minus 270 favorite. The comeback on Valentin plus 230. And I've got one question for you, Cody. Can you smell what Torrez is cooking?
Tip pop, tip pop. I wish I could do that. The Rock always used to do it. It was sweet. Yeah, listen, Torrez Finney's a good guy, man. Like salt of the earth, very humble, very smart, very likable. I met him when I went down to Nashville, and I was down there. We were down there to go see Robbie Ring and Trevor Peak, and we go to lunch with Trevor Peak's manager. And he brings along Torrez Finney. It's like he's 2-0 at the time. It's just like, yeah, this is this other guy I managed. So I get talking to him, and like he's 2 inches shorter than me. So like, and I'm not knocking on him, but when the UFC says he's 5'8", he's not. He's not 5'8". He's about 5'6". 5'7" would be the absolute max. I don't see it. Now, I don't know. They don't want to say he's a 5'6" middleweight, I guess. So they bump it up a bit, but he's a pretty short guy. But when you talk to me like,
He'd be 5'8", Cody, if he had a neck. Doesn't though.
yeah, if he had a neck, maybe it would boost him up a couple inches. But yeah, like I mean, he's built like a rock. I mean, quite literally, like he's
He
around,
is.
but he's just super muscular. You can see in his arms, like it's all stretch marks. And when you talk to him, it's like again, very humble, very bright kid. It's like, you're a fighter? And he's just like, oh, yeah, man, well, what's your background? He's like, oh, well, I was a state champion wrestler. And it's like, okay. And like, where'd you wrestle in college? He's like, wow, I fell in love with football. So I played football instead. And then if, he's a 5'6" like a lineman, right? So eventually football doesn't work out. So he decides, and when he was playing football, he got up to like 240 pounds, 250 pounds. So that's where the stretch marks come in. And then after football, he's dropped. He's a competitive guy. He's an athlete. He just wants to compete. Like he's so nice. It's like I can't imagine you hurting somebody or wanting to hurt somebody as much as it's like he just wants to break their will and win. I mean, that's what it's all about. And he doesn't have a girlfriend, doesn't have any kids. He trains 2, 3 times a day, and then he goes back to his house and he watches comic book movies. Or I don't know, I'm not into it. What would we call it? Like a Marvel movie or whatever. He's into comic book stuff. He's into video game stuff. He'll play some video games. He's got nothing else going on other than train. Now, I know guys that have trained with them. They've been down to American Top Team. They've been down to Hawaii with BJ Penn. They've been down to Matt Hughes' hit squad down in Illinois. They've been all over to these big camps that are run properly. And they all say the same thing. They're like, I ain't ever seen anybody with work ethic like this guy. Like, he just does not stop. They lock the doors to say, you have to go home. He trains all the time. And there's been times where he's lived in the gym. So it's like all he does is this. So I get it. He's very limited. He doesn't really have a great striking background. The gym he was at initially in Tennessee, Georgia, it would be a good gym, but a smaller gym. And I don't know that they have the pieces necessarily to take him to the next level. His wrestling's solid. His cardio is rock solid. The guy's got the will to win, but it's like who's giving him the pieces? So he does go over to Fusion XL in South Florida a lot. If you're in South Florida, why would you go to ATT? Why wouldn't you go to Kill Cliff? Okay, okay. Twist my arm. Go to MMA Masters. Why would you go to Fusion XL? I don't know. But he gets in good work there with like Rodolfo Vieira, Jacare Souza. Alex Nicholson's a bum, but he pops in from time to time. Phil Rowe, it's not the worst camp going, and he goes in there and he gets some quality work. He goes back home, he gets some quality work. I think they're very invested in the Torrance Finney game. But 100% when he fights on the Contender Series, I load up on him against this Yuri Panfarov because he was only minus 225 favorite against Panfarov, who's an absolute fraud. Finney took some damage in the first round, yet lasts him in the second. He finishes him in the third. Should have got a contract. It's Dana White's Contender Series. Everybody gets a contract. UFC tells him, no, Dana's not impressed. You wouldn't beat any of the middleweights on our roster. After the show's done, they go to him in the locker room and they say, I'll tell you what, we want you on the Ultimate Fighter. So don't take another fight and we're going to put you on the Ultimate Fighter. So he does not take any other fight. Then they call him up and they say, we've decided to pass on you for the Ultimate Fighter because we're only using one guy from every country and we already have an American representative. So we're going to pass on you, but instead we're going to give you a second fight in the Contender Series. So he's like,
Mhm.
okay, well, I missed out on Ultimate Fighter, but I get a second crack in the Contender Series. He wins against Cam Roston. Cam Roston is they lied about his size too. What they say he
Very,
was?
very tall. I watched that
They
fight,
say
and
he's
like
six
obviously
two.
he's
They
he's a
say he's
city
6'2".
kickboxing guy, and like
Yeah, that
frankly,
guy's 6'4", man.
he's
There's
really yeah,
no
like they
way
looked
he's 6'2".
insanely different. And like credit where credit's due. Like he was the decision against him, and it's mostly because of like wrestling and takedowns and control time. But it's like that guy's second pro fight. He went to decision against Jacob Malkoon. Like this, the guy at least is good against that type of opponent, or at least can survive against this type of opponent. So
Yeah, and
I interrupted, but
no,
you
it's
have more of
fine.
the
It's
story to
fine. I was
tell.
just rambling anyways. But I mean, like, he takes damage in that fight as well. He gets his face busted. He's bleeding. It looks like he's tired in the third round, but it's like he had, I don't know, it was a bit of an adrenaline dump. He wins the fight and he showed that he had heart and showed that he had a chin, but it wasn't the best look, I suppose. But the guy's huge that he's fighting. Should get him a contract. Dana says, I
No.
told you to go get more fights. And you only just fought the one time against Tyson Jerry. I told you to get more fights. They told him, don't get more fights. We're going to put you in the Ultimate Fighter. And then have him back on the Contender Series and then complain that he's only fought once in between. But the fans, they rallied for him. He's our short king. How many 5'6" middleweights are on the roster? Zero. How many 5'6" middleweights have been in the UFC? Yeah, not very many. I don't think any. Personally, I don't think any. You want to see him win. You root for him for no other reason. He's a good guy, but for no other reason than it's like, yeah, he's half the size of these guys, and he goes out there and he performs. They don't care that he's taking guys down and holding them down. It's what he's got to do. He's half your size. What's he supposed to do? Jab you? Got a long ass arm on him, by the way. He's got like a real deal reach, but he's a short guy, so you're punching upwards constantly. Listen, I can't say enough good stuff about him. Robert Valentin, I'm basically just gonna pass right over on him. But yeah, he's from the Ultimate Fighter. I didn't was not impressed with him on the Ultimate Fighter. We talked about him. He was the guy that beat Gianna's back car. We broke down Gianna's back car because he's fighting on the PFL
Hmm.
show on Thursday. But again, it's like, he's a little bit stiff, he's a little bit lumbering, and he's looking for the strikes for the most part. It's like he can grapple a little bit, but I think at his best, he's gonna be trying to strike. His fight with Ryan Loder. Ryan Loder, I know very well. There's no power. Like legit, he has no power. And yet, good wrestler. He's a very good wrestler. All American D1. Good wrestler. That's about it. Well, Loader just takes him down at will and smashes him. What do you think Finney's going to do to him? Finney's going to take him down and he's going to smash him. Now, I can see Finney striking for a little bit, but ultimately, he's not a stupid guy. He knows where his bread and butter is. He knows where his strengths lie, and he's going to at some point bowl him over and beat him up. So Torrance Finney for me. If I lose money, I'm more than willing to do it. 'Cause Torrance Finney, my boy. But bias aside, I think it's a great stylistical matchup for him.
Yeah, I will give like the little bit of credit I'll give Valentin. And it's not that much credit, but like in the early going against Loader, like he did get to his back. He had a little bit of success in those early scrambles, but then he kind of gassed out. And the problem for him is like six of his pro wins coming by way of submission. Most of them are either guillotine chokes or rear naked chokes. And Jared, pull up the picture there one more time. Torres doesn't have a neck.
And
Try choking that, man. You're just choking a muscle. You're not choking out. You're not choking out the undefeated Torrez Finney. Good luck. You know how like yeah, there's like his chin literally connects to his sternum. Like there is no neck to guillotine. So good luck trying to get the submission there, pal. Finney's the pick for me as well. Hopefully by, TKO like round two, something like that. But decision, I suppose, could be on the table as well. I expect Finney to get him out of there. It won't be like round one, I don't think. He does hit like an absolute truck. It's not out of the realm of possibilities, but like let's look at the props here. I think Finney, like kind of like how you think, is like kind of wears you down before he takes you out. So that's
yeah,
kind
it's
of
a
what we
death
saw with
by a
Valentin
thousand
as well last
cuts.
time out.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
he could line you up. I mean, yeah, he's built solid, but more than likely it's just constant pressure, constant ground and pound. You can go on YouTube and watch some of Finney's older fights. I called his fight with EJ Porte, and it's the same thing. He Dagestani handcuffs him, and wrist rides him, and just beats the shit out of this guy. And I'm on commentary saying like the ref can stop this at any point because this guy's not going anywhere. Do him a favor. Finally, it's a mercy kill. But yeah, it's like they gave him a chip on his shoulder by saying you're boring. You can't hang with the UFC middleweights, and it like
You're
pissed
too
him off.
short.
Yeah, and then that last Contender Series fight, there was like a fire in his eye. Like he got the takedowns like he always does, and then he just goes to town, man. He's so short that where his disadvantage is he's so short. It's his advantage when he gets you up against the cage because he's instantly in on your
And he gets
hips,
on, yeah, and he
and then he
gets
just
on
lifts
top of
you
you,
up.
and it's
Oh.
just like there's an absolute boulder that's basically just on
Mhm.
top of you. It's like you can't really like maneuver it because he's just so damn strong. Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
finish against Al Rawi or whatever, or Rami. Um, that guy was actually like doing well to try to get out of the triangle choke, and it's just like he just couldn't. He couldn't buck him off. Why? Because Torres's like base is just so damn strong. And Torres got the job done there.
Yeah, in the Roaston fight, he's busted. There's blood everywhere, and then he fought that Abdel Rami guy like 5 weeks later. He didn't
Hmm.
want to fight, but they were like, "Prove it! First guy to fight on the Contender Series 3 times or win 3 times." Like they gave him that other chance, but like when I spoke to him, like his team was like, he didn't. He took damage. He wants to take a little bit of a break, but they call, he's gonna answer. Now he's had an actual fight camp. Now he's had time to progress his skills. You'll see a better version of him. So. Yeah, we can move on. Finney, my boy, what a good guy. Good things should happen to good people, and this guy is one hell of a good person. So he's gonna do some big things, I hope.
Let's go Torres. All right, we got Luis Gurule taking on Ode Osbourne minus 260 for Gurule, plus 220 for Ode Osbourne. Watching the tape on these two guys. One, I kind of like. I mean, Gurule's 31-year-old flyweight. Um, he's a high school wrestler, from what I could kind of gather. 10-0, which looks good on paper. In the Piccinini fight, where he got into the UFC, I suppose. Gets taken down within seconds at the beginning of the fight. And then had his back taken pretty much within seconds. The guy's tough, durable, knows how to scramble out of the other positions. Everything kind of checks out in that respect. But like he's giving up 9 inches of reach here. My biggest struggle here, plus 220 on Ode Osbourne. Ode, we know there's just like faults there, but like I think there's big advantages for Ode. If, and this is a massive if, Cody, if he wants to fight a smart game plan where he pops out the jab, throws in the 1-2, and the jab is set up properly, dances around, almost kind of does the Yusuf Zalal game plan against Cater from a few weeks back. If he fought that game plan against Gurul, I think he wins the fight. But it's like he knocks down, Ode Osbourne on UFC Noche knocks down Rodriguez pretty early into it with a beautiful step back like check hook. And then rather than like, hey, let's get this Reynaldo Rodriguez to stand back up, he like chases a triangle or chases like a leg triangle choke and gets out. Round two, Rodriguez shoots, grabs a guillotine. Like he's fallen in love with his submission skills. If he uses like he's super fast, he's got decent hands. His cardio seems bad, especially when he grapples, but it's like somehow, somewhere along the way, he fell in love with his submissions. It's like you're a flyweight who has got a 73-inch reach. Like that's your biggest tool. That's your meal ticket here. I think Ode plus 220 flyweight fights tend to be pretty close and competitive. He's the pick for me. I'm probably gonna bet it too, and then regret it. But I think if he uses speed and stays to the outside, you're always asking for to be hurt when you're asking for a fighter to fight a very savvy kind of game plan here. A guy sometimes makes mistakes in there, I would say, but I see the path for him at plus 220. I'm gonna take a shot. What about you?
Yeah, listen, flyweights plus money, why not? But it's a no way for O'Day for me personally. Like he's just not doesn't do it for me. He's 1-4 in his last 5 fights. He's got very questionable ring IQ, but beyond that, it's just very low output, Paul. Like especially at flyweight, we talk about this all the time. You can't be a low output flyweight. It ain't gonna work out. His fight with Ronaldo Rodriguez this last time out, he lands 37 significant strikes over 15 minutes. Him versus Asu Amabaya if he gets out grappled, I guess, 4. Philo, he got out grappled 0. The Charles Johnson fight, that's his last win. Right? He's 1-4 over his last 5. That's the one win, Charles Johnson. But he gets outstruck 60-48. Like he's just very prone to getting outworked. Yeah, he's long. Yeah, he's got proportions. He struggles to make the weight. He doesn't want to overexert himself. He can wrestle a little bit. He can grapple a little bit. He can hit a little bit. He's got some variables to his game, no doubt about it. But he really struggles to put it all together and be consistent as a performer. The fact that he's just, open to getting it work, that's going to be problematic for him. This Luis Gurule guy, I'm very familiar with him. He's a Fury UFC champ, watched a lot of his fights, and he's a gamer, bro. The guy does not slow down. Like, he chokes out Jacob Silva in the 4th round. This Albert Trujillo fight, Albert Trujillo is a little bit of an older flyweight, but he's legit. He's legit, and it's a good fight. But the Nick Piccinini fight on the Contender Series, Piccinini, everybody knows his wrestling accolades. The guy's an absolute stud, but he goes 10 for 20. 10 for 20. And Gurule still lands. By the numbers, Gurule lands 105 significant strikes. It's the insignificant strikes. His totals were 206 total strikes landed, right? Or sorry, 129 total strikes landed, 105 of them being significant. The entire time that Nick's shooting on him, he's working those short shots within the clinch. At range, he's hitting them. When he gets taken down, he's getting back up. 10 takedowns on 20 attempts, and he had 5.5 minutes of control time. That's not a whole lot, being how good of a wrestler Piccinini is. So I do feel like for Gurule, it's like that's his best weapon, is that he's got a good motor on him. He's used to fighting 5-round fights, and he brings a certain pace. He's undefeated, so you really can't say he's chinny. So unless Ode Osbourne catches him, which I don't think happens, Ode Osbourne submits him, I don't necessarily see it happens. Ode's going to have to just clean out work this guy, and he just hasn't been out working anybody as of late. So it's too big of a money line for a flyweight debuting 31-year-old 125-pound fighter. Like, yeah, I'll admit the money's not good on it, the line's not good on it, but it's not enough for me to just throw out who I think is going to win to chase a little bit of value, because I do think that Gurule wins this fight more often than not. So he's going to be the pick for me.
All right, we got Daniel Santos taking on Davey Grant. Daniel Santos is a minus 155 favorite. Davey Grant could be had for plus 135. Who do you got here? I mean, before we even say who you've got here, I love both of these guys. I feel like I bet both of these guys every single fight. So it's like watching the tape here. It's just like, who's more my boy? Um, I'm interested to see where you're at before I unleash who my boy, I suppose, in this fight is.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we've liked Davey Grant for a long time. We've backed Davey Grant for a long time, and I'm willing to take one more flyer on him here. He fights for your dollar, man. That's all I can ask for a guy, is that give me everything you got. Davey's gonna do that. He's a bit of an upset specialist when you look past him, because there's no big thing to his game. What's he do well? Nothing. He's not a star in the UFC. He doesn't fight 2, 3 times a year. He doesn't talk shit on the microphone. He doesn't do all these big interviews. He flies under the radar, and he's one tough dude. Again, it's like he does have a certain je ne sais quoi to his game. He's got big power in his hand. He's constantly moving you backwards. You can win a round off him, and then you can't start to rest, because the second you start to rest and get comfortable, Davey Grant works his way back into it. His last time out against Ramon Tavares, sorry, I believe he's the underdog in that spot, but backed him there. He's taking on a younger kid that's faster than him and hits harder than him, and he really gave him a veteran lesson, right? His fight with Rafael Sunsao, the inverted triangle choke. He subbed Rafael Sunsao with the inverted triangle choke. He can really do it all. And then when he loses, these are his losses. His last loss, Daniel Marcos, I thought he got robbed. He struck Marcos 70-48. He lost a split. Prior to that, he lost to Adrian Yanez. I thought he got robbed in that fight. He lost a split. Prior to that, he lost to Marlon Vera in a competitive decision, and he has a win over Marlon Vera from back in the day. Knocks out Jonathan Martinez. There's a lot of good work here. When I look at Daniel Wiley Cat Santos, he's so fun, he's so entertaining, but that could be his demise. He is faster than Davey Grant. He arguably hits harder than Davey Grant. But so did Ramon Tavares, right? So it's not anything new to Grant. This is what he does. He's a proper gatekeeper, and he's guarding the hell out of that gate. Is that when I look at Wiley Cat, his debut against Julio Arce, or in the Contender Series, pieced up. When you talk about those levels of striking, he's nowhere near it. The second fight with John Castellaneta, he ends up winning by knockout, but he gets dropped himself. Has a bad start to that fight. And then his last fight against Johnny Munoz, Johnny Munoz is just no good. So it's hard to say that this guy should be the favorite over Davey Grant, considering Davey Grant has a whole body of work here, and this guy looks fun and entertaining against possibly lower end guys. So if I can get plus money on Davey Grant, I'm willing to take a stab at it.
That's where I landed as well. And it was like really it came down to just like I like betting the old guys. One, it's because he's the underdog, of course. But like he's been in there with so many guys. And then he's been in Vegas for a little bit of time. And I know this means nothing, but it's just like he was like um it's like good to get some work in with these two guys. And it was like him and Aljo and Marab down in Vegas. So it's like at least he was working for like maybe a day or two with those guys down in Vegas getting ready for this fight. Because I do think that the one place that like Willie Cat has shown some growth in his game and maybe he could exploit would be the wrestling here. But David Grant's a tough out for anybody, man. Like there, there's really not like what fights has Davy Grant had that it's like
He got
even
embarrassed.
when he loses, it's like
That
he
was
is there. Marlon Vera, it's like title challenger. It's just like that was a damn close fight. And by the numbers, by everything. It's like nobody the one thing that you can kind of take a little bit advantage of him is the grappling. It's like Rafael Sunset was able to take him down 5 times, but Rafael Sunset got caught in an inverted triangle in round three
right.
for trying to do that. It's like the guys just kind of I mean, I still maintain to this day that we got robbed against Daniel Marcos, but moved on from that. David Grant's the real deal, man. Welcome to the top of the heap. I mean, he's 39. He's like my age, so eventually it's gonna fall off of a cliff, I suppose, at some point. But last performance out there against Ramon Tavares, frankly, it may have been Davey's best. I mean, it was a lower level of competition than what he's been facing, of course, and he was like the underdog there, like won quite a bit of money betting my boy Davey in that spot. But that is just one of the yeah, it's just like it's a fight for Daniel. It's like this is a an all around, UFC gatekeeper of sorts. Like David Grant's never really been like top 15, anything like that, but he's uh he's kind of a gatekeeper in his own right. It's like getting into like if you beat David Grant, you may be getting like a top 15, top 20 type of opponent next time out. This next one, Cody, is all about narratives, everything for me. We got Dione Barbosa taking on Diana Belbita. Minus 1,000. The biggest favorite on the card is Dione Barbosa. Diana Belbita can be behind for plus 675. I don't know if you saw the interviews this week, but like after last week or after last fight for Belbita, I believe she like said that she was going to retire. She was saying that she was going to retire in the lead up to the fight. And she gets taken down. She gets subbed by Molly McCann in the first round.
That didn't age
Um,
well.
that did not age well because then, Molly goes out there. Thainera absolutely works her. Last time out, Molly on top of that, Bruno Brazil absolutely works her over the course of 3 rounds.
She
That loss
retired.
looks even worse in hindsight. And
Her
then
last
this
two
week
opponents
she's
have
out there.
retired.
What's that?
Her last two opponents have since retired. Molly McCann and Karolina Kowalkiewicz.
Yeah. Um, and she lost both of them.
Yeah.
And I know that like you have a little bit more like connection being that like she trains or she did train at least for a period of time, kind of in your region. So I don't, yeah, I don't really want to like make you say too much about it, but like I know that she's been like, yeah, she's been toying with the idea of retirement over in the Discord for the Bookie Beatdown Discord over there. I posted this clip earlier of her saying again, this is like, I don't really care if I win or lose this fight. I'm gonna open my own gym in the States after this, and it's just like you know me. It's just like I look at the number plus 675 in the CF DOP model and everything like that. But it's just like I get everybody has a price, but everything. Dropping the fact that she's gonna open her own gym. Like she retired after her last couple fights, I'm pretty sure. Every single fight seems like she's trying to retire. she's got like 400,000 followers on Instagram. I'm sure she's seeing like, oh, me just running this Instagram is more
OnlyFans.
financially feasible and that type of thing than anything I can do actually in the cage at this stage in the game. So good on her. She's set up life for after the fact, but like hard to back you with your dollar. It doesn't even sound like she wants to be in there. I'm so sick that's like if it keeps growing, Cody, I'm only human. I may take a little poke at like plus 800, but for right now it's dog or pass, even though it sounds like she wants to go. Do I think Barbosa is gonna win? Yes. Do I think Barbosa is probably gonna win by sub one? But it's like minus 1,000 when it's just like when I don't think Barbosa, I don't rate Barbosa to be all that good. I just think that she's taking on an opponent that literally doesn't really have any sort of interest in being in there. Um, if they give me plus 800, I'll make my donation and expect to lose. But what's your take on this fight?
Yeah, yeah. On one hand, it's like Dione Barbosa has the grappling advantage and she'll neutralize you, but she's so low on volume that
Yeah.
if you're not damaging your opponent and these are gonna go 15 minutes, it's gonna be subjective. All I need is two of the three judges to say, well, the other girl spent more time on her back and up against the cage, but landed a few short elbows, and that's all it takes. So Dione, women's MMA in general, you're not looking to bet a money line like this. But Dione Barbosa, is she really putting that big exclamation point on some of these fights? Like, I don't think so. Don't want to totally get behind it. The flip side of that, Diana Belbita, she's 2-5 in the UFC. Those two wins, Maria Oliveira and Hannah Goldie, like nothing to write home about. The losses, Gloria Padaula, Liana Jajua, Molly McCann 2 times. Oh man, why would we get behind this? But no doubt about it, she got a better striking game than Dion Barbosa. If the fight was to stay standing, she'll land 3 times the amount of shots, but also like she's got some decent kickboxing, some decent Muay Thai. Her problem is that she does not love to grapple. She does not love to go to wrestling practice. She does not love the other arts in the mixed martial arts. And so she's fairly one-dimensional. And like her head coach is a wicked good Muay Thai coach, and her Muay Thai I think is very solid. You look at some of these fights, the Karolina Kowalkiewicz fight, she landed, 100 significant strikes, a couple takedowns. Her fight with Hannah Goldie, she puts up 117, like she can put up volume. Her fight with Maria Oliveira, 106. By an average, she's averaging 6.5 strikes landed per minute. So there's good volume there. Solid leg kicks, nice left hook. The cardio's not great. And the grappling's not great. You do see improvements every fight, but they're just not enough. And so for Dione Barbosa, she's Brazilian. She might be a little stronger. If she just gets a couple takedowns, could she not just staple to the mat? Maybe. But yeah, maybe not. Or maybe she's tired. Or maybe it's a bad weight cut. Or maybe she shoots a few takedowns and then decides I want to strike some bit. Like, I don't know what Barbosa will do. And the line makes me definitely nervous. But you're not wrong with Belbita. Like she said, she retired after her last fight, before the fight. She doesn't want to be there. I'm not saying she skips out on going to practice, but she's a cut woman. Like she goes to all these events and she works as the cut man. She's a cut woman. She's doing, she's got her Instagram and she's doing interviews and she's calling out Nina Drama on Twitter, like bunch of stupid stuff that's not living in the mountains and praying and eating and getting ready to kick someone's ass. And that's the kind of
Mhm.
stuff I like. Live that simple approach. Like Torrence Finney, he not wasting his time doing other stuff other than train. I can appreciate that. But Vita's got a lot of other. She's a pretty girl. People are lighting her up her DMs. They want to hang out. And Terrence McKinney wants to get together in Las Vegas and other stupid shit and whatever. It's like you have a life. She's a 28-year-old girl. It's hard to keep her on the straight and narrow. Talented, but just hasn't been able to fill the holes enough. So that kind of sounded dirty because we were talking about a chick.
Yeah.
But you get what I'm saying. I'm cutting this off the TV
Beep.
part of stuff. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh I'll take Barbosa. If it was a crazier line, if I see something on weigh-ins, maybe there's a PRP type of flip, just to have her out all the way at the end. But you probably just want to pass on this one altogether would be the smart move.
Yeah, there's no way I bet that Barbosa. I'm happy to just skip it. We're just breaking down so much like BKFC and Octagon and PFL that's already
There's better fights on
uploaded
the
and everything for
octagon
that.
than this one. You know what I'm saying? Like this this
100%.
this would be a prelim on a ton of the regional stuff that we talk about. So you don't need it. It's not a force play considering of the amount of stuff that's happening this weekend.
Are you saying it's the cranberry sauce fight of the night?
It's the cranberry sauce fight of the night. If you had something you had to do, if your wife was like, take out the garbage, change the kid, you're like, yeah, 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 yeah. Just once the next fight comes on, I'm free for 20
If
minutes.
Barbosa's walking in, let's go.
That's the fight.
Um,
People could shit on all these other fights. I'm genuinely interested in almost all of them.
yeah,
This one, it could be fun. It could also be a dud. We'll have to see.
yeah, I'll make my donation. If they want to make this line bigger, it's just like, okay, you got me. I'm only human. I'm only human. It won't be for much either, though. It would just be to, you know, to test the CF dot model more than anything.
Yeah.
Daniel Frunza takes on Rhys Mckee. Frunza minus 160 favorite. Rhys can be had for plus 140. Who do you like here?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I think this is the first time, I could be wrong, but this might be the first time in UFC history two Romanian fighters are on the same card. And I don't think Belbita wins. I don't necessarily think this Frunza wins. He
No,
hits very, very hard, man. I give him
he
that.
does.
He's got some legit power, but I'm not sold on his ground game at all. And for Rhys McKee, like I understand he's not super overwhelming, let's say, but he's got big proportions, 6'2", 78-inch reach. In terms of like his chin, he went the distance with Chidi and Jaquani in his last fight. He went the distance, oh, I don't know. He spent Hamza was on top of him for 3 minutes, Paul, before he, you know,
Yeah, that
before
was one-way
he did.
traffic.
He
But at
has
least
been
he
knocked
didn't, yeah, he
out.
didn't roll over immediately.
Yeah, he didn't roll out immediately, but honestly, like he's been around for so damn long that you can look back, like as an amateur, he's got a win over Richie Smullen. As a pro, he's got a win over Jai Herbert from 2016. Knocks him Tim Barnett. He uses Tim Barnett to knock him out. He avenges that fight 2 fights later, knocks Tim Barnett out. Since then, he hasn't been finished. He's been shown some durability. He made his UFC debut against Hamzat. His second fight is Alex Morono, who's a tenured vet of the UFC with 20 UFC performances under his belt. They cut him. He legitimately works his way back in. Now, Justin Burlinson, he's a Contender Series veteran. Wallhead, he's beating bums. He's beating the best guys in the UK to get in. Like reason he just can't quite get a win at this level. So yes, he's 0-4 in the UFC. I understand it doesn't look good. I understand people aren't looking to back a guy like that. But man, I like his durability. I like the fact that, the Morono fight, he lands 124 significant strikes. The takedowns killed him. Against Angelusa, he's landing. The takedowns kill him. Against Chidi, he decided I'm going to try to take Chidi down, and there's a whole lot of cage control. Riz does really good. There's an argument he won the fight, but he wasn't really doing enough with the cage control. I just got to hope that at some point, this guy that's had a lot of experience, he's still only 29 years old, I believe. He's still a young guy. He's accrued a tons of experience. He's still figuring out his game and how to utilize all of his weapons and put it all together. I feel at some point he's going to do it. Now, Frunz is a power puncher. He very much is. If he doesn't get Riz out right off the hop, I feel like I got a shot. Beyond that, Riz couldn't take Chidi and Jaquani down. Chidi's huge, dude. Like, how does that guy make 170? I had no idea. He's a career middleweight that is 3-0 when he makes 170 pounds. So I'm gonna give Riz the benefit of the doubt. I think this is an easier opponent in comparison to what he's been fighting, and everybody he's been fighting for the most part is taking him down. This may be his chance to show off his best of his skills, or he goes 0-5 and he's gonna lose his job again. But he's gonna be highly motivated to pick up his first win. The matchmakers have given him somebody that should at least play into his hands. So short dog order, but I'll take Riz McKee.
I liked Rhys Mckee as well. Haven't bet it, watching the markets, but watching tape on these two guys, Rhys, yeah, going the distance with Chidi means something. Chidi's an absolute beast. Not the greatest grappler, of course, but what I see from Rhys is that, like, even though he may not have great wrestling, a lot of like standing cage control, he uses that height to kind of like neutralize you. He has leverage on a lot of his opponents, especially at 170 pounds when he fights at this in this weight class. Two, he's got 78-inch reach, very, very long. Makes it very difficult to get on inside. Chin's pretty solid over the course of his career. And yeah, like I went back watched the Frunza versus Boleto fight where it was a while ago, but like that was his one of his like that was his last loss, I guess, 2021. But it's like basically just gets dropped in the first minute versus this Gary Boleto Jr. and then subbed pretty much immediately after that. Like I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that it's like this guy's ground game hasn't improved all that much, even against on the contender series. Like round one was a pretty rough time for him against that Coetzee guy, and that Coetzee had like a great record, or like it looked like a very very shiny record. I think he was like 17-1 or something coming into
Yeah.
that fight. It was probably mostly a whole bunch of cans, but like round one, Coetzee drops him again. It's like I have durability concerns with Frunza. I have the fact that it's like experience, like high level experience. I think favors Rhys Mckee. Like, yeah, sure, Rhys has gotten beat by like legitimate pros at this level. Plus 135, like plus 140 maybe even. Seems like Rhys Mckee is the side this week. I plan to bet him as well. We got Loma Lookboonmee taking on Istela Nunes minus 725. They are testing the limits of the CF dot model these days, Cody. But I will say that Loma Lookboonmee minus 725 versus Istela Nunes plus 525. Stella can't really grapple. She hasn't been very, very active recently. Last time, obviously, out, I believe she got injured. But like even before that, she's on what, a four-fight losing streak at this point.
I know she's 0-4 in the UFC. I couldn't tell you why she still has a roster spot. The only thing I can guess is one of two things. Thing number one, the fourth fight, she broke her arm. So it's possible in the back room they were like, "Hey, that was some bad luck. Don't worry, we'll give you one more." Like, nobody wants to go out like that. We'll give you one more. Thing number two is that she's supposed to fight Molly McCann like couple weeks ago in Molly McCann's swan song fight where they're like, "Yeah, yeah, we've been holding this chick just for you, Molly." And then Estella pulls out. Molly's unfortunately forced to take on a way tougher opponent in Thainara. And then she gets smoked by Thainara. But they were trying to set her up with Estela Nunes, who's been otherwise has not fought in just under 2 years, 0-4 with the organization, has not won a fight since she beat Gina Young on one championship in July 7th, 2018. So it's been 7 years since she's won a fight. Why is she on the roster? 6-5 overall as a pro. So this one, I understand the line.
I
It's women's
understand it.
MMA, Paul, but I get it.
Loma's got better
She's
kickboxing. She's
better
probably giving up a
everywhere.
little bit of reach, but she's super durable. She's went to the decision against Lupi Godinez and Angela Hill when she's lost her fights. At least she got to the final bell. She's really worked on a grappling game, like an actual wrestling game. That Denise Gomez win, frankly, has really aged quite well over the last couple of years because like Denise's solid in making massive improvements every single fight at this point. Denise's won four of her last five, with the only loss coming against Angela Hill in a real close back and forth type of fight. So everything is kind of pointing towards Loma here.
You
Better
could you
striker,
could
probably has a wrestling advantage.
Oh yeah, she
Went
does.
the distance against, better opponents than this. It's minus 725, but yeah, I feel better about Loma here than I feel about DM Barbosa, I suppose, even though, the narrative and all that.
You may be able to live bet this thing after the first round and get a much better price, and then Loma takes over. Because what I will say with Estela Nunes is that she can strike, and she's not bad for a one round. Her fight with Ariane Carnelosi, she's winning. She easily wins the first round. She gasses out and gets choked out in the third. Her fight with Sam Hughes, she easily wins the first round, outstrikes Sam Hughes 89-76, but gassed out and lost a majority decision. Her fight with Yasmin Yergui, she dropped Yasmin Yergui in the first round and won it, and then got gassed out. And then her last fight, well, it's over in 34 seconds, but it's about the shittiest takedown you'll ever see somebody attempt in their life, and she breaks her own arm defending it, just falling over on it. So
Brittle.
that one's a bad look. But the other three fights, she looks pretty good in the first round, and then no gas tank. And now she hasn't fought in 2 years. I'm like, not expecting a gas tank, but she may be competitive in the first round versus Loma, and then second or third Loma takes over. So Loma's obviously the play, but if you don't want to pay the minus 700, I get it. You might be able to get a minus 450 after she drops the first round, or a minus 335 after Loma drops the first round, or even if the first round is just competitive, you get a much better line on this, and then Loma's going to take over the longer it goes.
I was just looking at Stella's Instagram. She does have abs. I just don't know if did she always have abs. She's on air.
She's jacked, man. She swings. There's been times where I'm watching her, I'm like, damn, this girl could be okay. But then it's all of a sudden it's like, oh, she's not moving the same anymore. She's not throwing the same anymore. It's like it's a big cardio dump.
Yeah,
So her path to victory is, finish you ASAP. But even
looks
in
like
that
she's always had
scenario,
abs. So
yeah,
it looks like she's always had abs. I was just like looking at like older pictures. I'm
she
like,
hasn't not
is
she
she is she more jacked this time? Did she have some extra nutrients to recover from the broken arm? These types of things happen in the world of mixed martial. Not so much in the UFC, but lot on those regional scenes. You're like, this guy looks great, and then he comes over stateside, and you're like, what happened to you? Um,
Also, what's up with this
Drug testing happened to you.
American top team Brazil?
Yeah.
Like, what a stupid ass name. Like, I get Brazil top team, or Brazilian top team was a legendary gym, but and American top teams, they're all over. American top team doesn't have to be in Florida. There's one in Oregon. There's one in Atlanta. I get it, but American top team Brazil, yeah, okay. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
so stupid.
Not
Anyways,
exactly
he's
the
going
same
down.
thing.
I think so. Two more fights to
Um,
crank out.
your boy Victor Henry, he takes on Pedro Falcao. Henry's a minus 205 favorite. Falcao can be had for plus 175. Went back, watched some tape on this Falcao guy. Frank, I kind of forgot that this guy was like on the UFC roster. I know he is a third degree Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. If he can get you to the ground, he's got a great submission game. It's a big if though. Against Victor Hugo, he went one for 13 on takedowns. And frankly, his striking basically looked like complete doo-doo. There really wasn't much more. My only concern here, I think like takedown defense for Victor Henry, 84% over the course of his career. Did get caught if against Jourdain, but he was wrestling in that fight. He was trying to take Jourdain down, got caught in a guillotine. Um, that's what he was that was his game plan here. His game plan, I think this fight is more like what he did against Ronnie Yaya, which is like, and I think Falcao is a more athletic version, I suppose, of Ronnie Yaya at this stage in Ronnie Yaya's career, but like not all that different. Don't chase this guy to the ground. Don't you shut up, Gabby. You shut up, Gabby. Gabby cats. But yeah, so basically just stay out of this guy's guard. Do not engage. Just anti-wrestling, keep it on the feet, unload on the feet. I think it should my major concern here is that Henry's 37 years old. It's a
Yeah.
bantamweight fight. One of these days he's really gonna fall off an absolute cliff. Maybe it's this fight, but it's like this opponent is kind of tailor-made for like just sprawl and brawl because like this guy can't keep pace with you on the feet. Don't engage. Don't let this guy get the takedown. The one takedown Falcao did get against Hugo was the like right out of the gate at the beginning of the fight, and then he went 0 for 12 after that. It's like you just can't engage in the grappling with this guy. You should absolutely crush this guy in terms of volume on the feet, maybe even get him out of there late. But no, Victor Henry. I liked him, I guess, more a week ago he was like minus 170, but you know how the markets move. Now he's minus 207 and growing. It's like minus 225 at some places. Henry's the pick. There is concerns about a 37-year-old bantamweight, of course, though.
Yeah, and I've been watching Victor Henry a long time. You can noticeably see that he's slowing down. You can see that his scrambles aren't quite as quick and explosive as they used to be. The volume and the striking, it seems to be there, but the speed and the precision maybe starting to lack a little bit. But I think he's got enough in the tanks to still show a veteran type of performance against Falcao. Everything you said, sprawl and brawl. He's got an 83% takedown defense in the UFC, but this is a Josh Barnett guy, trained CSW, catch can wrestling. He's going to be comfortable as a counter wrestler, and I think that's where he's going to shine. The bottom line for me personally is Pedro Falcao. He's got really good jiu-jitsu. Is it any better than Ronnie Yaya's? No, it's not. In fact, is Pedro Falcao better than Charles Jourdain? No, Jourdain's better. Is he better than Javid Basharat? No. Better than Tony Gravely? Not in my opinion. Is he better than Rafael Sansa? No. Is he better than Ronnie Barcelos? Definitely not. Like, all Victor Henry does is fight good guys. But
Mhm.
this actually seems like a very winnable spot for him. Now, Paul is echoing all my same sentiments. 37 years old, 135 pounds. It's a division predicated on speed. We got a big striking advantage here. We just got to keep the fight standing. And I think he's going to be able to do that. In fact, I wouldn't be shocked to see him take him down and just mind your P's and Q's. He did get caught by a Charles Jourdain guillotine choke, but Jourdain is fast and explosive. And Jourdain coming down from 145 to 135, beast. Whole new man. He's like Kennedy going to heavyweight. It's like some light bulb went off in his head, and he's a completely different fighter. So Henry took him down 4 times and wasn't looking bad. Just unfortunately made one mistake against Pedro. I don't think he's going to necessarily be sticking his head into guillotine chokes, but just wear on him, make him work, make him tired. Start to out volume, keep a pace that he's just not able to sustain, and then have your way. So yeah, Victor Henry, I'm on board.
And finally, we got Vanessa Demopoulos taking on Talita Alencar. Demopoulos -1. It's a straight pick 'em, homie. Who you
Yeah,
got?
I got Vanessa Demopoulos. I understand why it's
Same.
a straight pick 'em. All of her fights are close. And
Yeah.
I think she's robbing the vast majority of these girls. Like Emily
Good.
Ducote fight, you cannot convince me she won that fight. She absolutely does not win that fight.
No.
Her fight with I don't know if it's a Jinyu Frame one. Kanaka Murata, I thought she won. Oh, maybe she didn't. Anyways, the thing that pisses me off is these fights are very close. They're usually not super entertaining. And then she greases out these robbery split decisions and she jumps into Michael Bisping's arm or whoever the commentator's arm. Like, she's just won a UFC title. Like, it's ignorant. It's arrogant, I guess I should say. So I'm always kind of low key cheering against her. And then in her last fight against Jacqueline Amorim full on cheats,
Oh
grabs the
yeah. The
inside of the
hand in the.
glove. She looks at the ref like she's grabbing my glove. She's grabbing my glove, and as the ref is like, "Keep fighting," she gets rear naked choked, or
I can't believe that they
she gets
can't
armbar.
reverse something like that because it was very clear. Like they have
It's
replays.
in Vegas that
Yeah.
has the replay rule in effect. They
Yeah.
show the replay. The commission looks at it. Bisbing and Dominic Cruz look at it. Bisbing I like as a commentator. Dominic Cruz I really do not like. But both of them just conclude that, oh well, like nobody cares.
Like you got
Nobody
to defend the armbar. It's just like, but like what? Then why do we have replay?
you always have to defend yourself. You know what? Michael Bisping actually
They're
goes in the
right.
ring.
You have to defend yourself. That
You
is rule
do.
number one. But
You
like
do. But
the
someone's
fact of the
cheating.
matter is, it's like it was very like her fingers were in the glove, and like yeah, I find Demopoulos kind of annoying as well. But fair is fair. It was definitely illegal.
It was illegal. And then Bisbing interviews Jacqueline Amorim afterwards, and she just denies it. She's like, "Nope, I didn't do it." And he's just like, "Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Happens all the time. Like he just happens all the time. It's against the rules. If you finger blasted somebody, you eye poked them, right? And then they're covering up. They're supposed to defend themselves still, but they're compromised. If it was a groin strike, they're supposed to defend themselves till the ref says something, but you're compromised. She's got your glove. It's like if you watch that whole sequence, Vanessa's a black belt as well. She's gonna escape. She's gonna end up on top. That girl grabs the wrist so that she can't turn and locks up the armbar. It's a total cheat move. And there's no one that kind of like had it coming more than Vanessa Demopoulos. I don't know. It feels so weird to say that. She's robbed so many girls and acted like she's hot shit that this was like, I also do not care. I lost money on it, so I kind of cared. But I get why everybody else doesn't care. It's like, yeah, here's a wake up experience for you, girl. Go out there and earn your victories. So against Toledo, Alencar's kind of a similar matchup. Like Alencar's 34. She's older. She is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt and a world champion, and she's got all those things going for her. But unlike Amorim, she's not as good of a wrestler, and she's just not as fast or athletic. When you
Mm.
first saw her on the Contender Series, I had her against Stephanie Luciano, who's just a kid at that point. And the first 2 rounds, it's like this girl's jiu-jitsu is pretty slick. The third round, she tires. She takes an absolute beating. It's a 10-8 round. They give it a draw. The UFC doesn't sign her. They only sign Luciano, despite it being a draw. She comes in, makes a debut against Ryan Dos Santos. Ryan Dos Santos is the Invicta FC 105-pound champ, and she's not good. You may say, how not good is she, Cody? She lost a decision to Puya Tomar. She's not fucking good. I don't have to bleep that out. I'll be out the TV. Don't worry about Jared. I'll make sure that one doesn't make it to TV. But you get what I'm saying. Then you're operating at a very low level. Then they run back the fight with Luciano, and nobody bets her in that rematch. And it's completely different. She can't get the takedowns at will. She can't get the control. She takes, a decent amount of damage. I just think she's very one-dimensional in her approach. Vanessa Demopoulos is a better wrestler and a better striker. I'm not saying Vanessa Demopoulos is a good wrestler or a good striker, but she's just better in those two categories. She's got better durability. She's got, cast iron chin. Not that Alan Carr can land anything, but she generally fights like a bulldog. She's in your face. She pressures you. She moves you back. She's throwing, some fairly wild stuff. She's got almost no reach. 59 inches. It's the lowest in UFC history as far as I'm concerned. 59-inch reach. She has to fight you within the pocket, but she comes at you 100 and she's got the cardio to match it up. Whereas Alan Carr fades, needs to fight on the ground, not all that physically strong. And Vanessa, if you don't grab her glove, she was gonna end up on top in that scramble. So yeah, I think Little Monster gets the job done. Hopefully fair and square. I don't gotta sweat it. But if it is a split decision, because she used to dance as a featured dancer at a lot of strip clubs in the area. A lot of these judges, like they either got a lap dance at some point or didn't tell their wives that they were going out with their buddies on a Thursday night, classic party night. That like Vanessa's got dirt on them, so whenever it's a close fight that goes to decision, they're willing to rob the opponent for Vanessa. You got to finish her in order to get the decision, and in this case, I really don't think Alan Carr does. So I got Little Monster Vanessa Demopoulos to get the victory.
Yeah, same here. No, I think it comes down to volume on the feet. She is very tough. It's like very like it's she takes a hell of a shot. Like people like Alan Carr throws a couple like spinning back kicks and stuff you wouldn't really necessarily expect from somebody with her frame. Like no doubt that like for her frame she's a decent athlete, but God, this has got to be the first time that Demopoulos has ever had a reach advantage. I mean, it's only a 1 inch reach advantage, but it's got to be like the first time that like she's ever had a reach advantage in any one of, I guess, six. Yeah, so against Amareem, she was giving up 10 inches.
Yeah.
Against
Well, I've never seen a
Ducote,
less than 60 other than Vanessa. And then all of
yeah,
a sudden Alan Carr comes in and Alan Carr's got a 58. She's
yeah.
5'1". Vanessa's 5'2". Like you're not gonna see this ever again. It's I think it's the two smallest reaches in UFC history. And I think Alan Carr may be smallest ever at 58. But yeah, well, who's the shortest UFC fighter? Has there been a male flyweight that's been 5'1"? I don't think so.
Not that I can
Anyways,
think of.
yeah, I don't know.
Who
I,
was that girl back in the day that had the T-Rex arms that I used to always mock?
oh yeah, but she had a 62-inch reach.
Was it
This is
62?
4 inches shorter. And in
We gotten
fact,
shorter?
yeah, we watched somebody on the Contender Series. She's 4'7", but she had like a 63-inch reach, right? Like
Yeah.
she actually had a bit of a reach on her. So
Does Alan
yeah,
Carr have the
crazy.
shortest reach in UFC history? That is the question.
You have
Leave a
to ask
comment
Grok. I
if
never
you
use
know.
Grok, but my brother says it knows everything. Grok, who has the shortest reach in UFC history?
Well, we'll find that out after we go through. Looking at my whew, the list that I made. Thank God there's two BKFC cards. There's PFL on Thursday night, Octagon. Yeah, there's so many more things to bet this week for us. If you're interested in hopping on board with us, all the link is in the description to get over to the Bookie Beatdown Patreon and Discord and all of that, where we share all of our plays and all of our research that we've been doing on that. But yeah, the bets that I'm interested in making, woof, looking at like the list of things that like have my attention this week are Ode Osbourne, Davey Grant, Rhys Mckee, Vanessa Demopoulos, and then guys for parlays are Torrez and Victor Henry. That's a stinker. That's a stinker of a card, Cody. Hit him with the PRP.
Hit it with the PRP. And for the record, Grok says Hector Sandoval, who had a 61-inch reach.
Well,
So
that's
even
that's that's
that's
not even
three.
correct.
That's what I'm saying. Grok,
Grok
what's
is
up? What's
sexist.
up, Grok? You
I'm
know
calling.
shit.
I'm calling Elon.
Yeah, might have to. We are going with the PRP this week. So we're going with Lerone Murphy, Pat Sabatini, dog number one, Changho Lee, Kendi Nzechukwu, Gerald Meerschaert, dog number two, Torrance Finney, Louise Gurule, Davey Grant, that's dog number three. Dione Barbosa, Rhys Mckee, dog number four, Lookboonmee, Victor Henry, and Vanessa Demopoulos is a even money. So, yeah, listen, we got 13 fights, and there's a little bit of something for everybody. Favorites that look okay, underdogs that look okay, and of course, a lot of props that I actually really dig. So that's going to be on tomorrow's Thursday show. Paul always says link
Friday's
in the
show.
description. Oh yeah, that's right. It's Wayne. Wayne's Friday. I know.
Wait, or tomorrow's
This
show,
whole week has been
Cody.
messed up because of the
I know
PFL,
PFL put us back a little bit after we
but I'm super
finish up.
excited for it.
We're working really hard over there. So
Yeah.
it's like if you are interested, like you should hop on over. We've been putting in countless hours. Like the grind doesn't really stop. So it's like we finish this, and I'll probably be up until the wee hours of the morning taping BKFC and probably Octagon tonight. We taped all of the PFL card, then hopped into the UFC. And then so Thursdays we drop our regional show. Fridays we drop our props and weigh-in review for the UFC card, and then on Sundays we kind of look back at the week that was. That drops over on the Bookie Beatdown YouTube page. More exciting stuff is going to be coming to that the Bookie Beatdown YouTube page in the coming months. So maybe go subscribe to that in the meantime. Anyway, that is it for us this week. Hope you enjoyed the show. For producer Jared and Cody Saptic, I'm Paul Shaughnessy saying goodbye and good luck.